So Councilman McPike.
Thank you. Tonight, we're voting on efforts to address a complicated but important issue about the future of our city. The question facing Alexandria is whether we're willing to commit the effort and resources to make our city more inclusive, one where low and middle income families and seniors aren't driven out by skyrocketing housing costs, or if we will continue down a path of exclusivity where only those among us who have the most are able to remain. My values, driven by my own life experience, the experience of my friends and people I love, my faith, demand the former. I want to thank the hundreds of Alexandrians, many of whom are watching online or here in the room with us tonight, who participated in the process considering these proposals over the course of this year. Those of you who came to one of the staff-led public discussions, who attended a town hall, who submitted questions, who spoke to the Planning Commission or one of our public hearings, who sent emails to us. So many of you sent emails to us, and I read and tried to respond to every single one. You've had an impact on this process. We heard a great deal of concern about affordable housing, and in the proposals before us, 92% of the new units will come from tools that require a significant number of committed affordable units. We heard that number, it was 30 to 52% of the units. We heard concerns about the size of buildings and the feel of our neighborhoods. And in the proposals we are about to vote on, we do not change the allowed building sizes in current single-family neighborhoods. And the increased building heights proposal, which we heard about last year, we didn't speak about tonight because it's been set aside. Whether you agree with what we do on these questions tonight or not, I want you to know that you were heard, you were listened to. I value the opinion of every Alexandrian on matters such as these because Alexandria is all of our home and we all love our home. I'll always do my best to be responsive to the questions and concerns of those who contact me. And for me, the voice of every Alexandria has counted in this process, regardless of their position, or for that matter, where they live, what kind of home they live in, how long they've lived here, and whether they own or rent that home. Over the last year, while we've discussed Alexandria's housing crisis at a very high level, across our city, our friends and family have experienced the impact of this housing crisis in very personal ways. For the people on the front lines of Alexandria's housing crisis, this isn't about questions related to density or parking. It's about whether their family will still be able to stay in their home, whether they'll have money left over in their bank account for food, for clothes, for the heat in the winter after they pay their rent. We were elected, each of us, after a campaign where questions of housing policy came up time and time again. We were asked on many questions, we were asked on many occasions, if we would use the limited tools that are available to us to address the needs of Alexandrians who are struggling to maintain their homes. I believe that we are up here today because we are the people who most confidently and clearly said yes to those questions. And I'll be saying yes this evening. The proposals before us are not perfect, but they are an effort on the part of Alexandria to live out our progressive values, to push back against the market forces that threaten so many of our vulnerable communities with displacement, and to create a healthier housing market in our city, one in which our large direct financial investments, as detailed by our Director of Housing, go further because we've created a healthier market and the money we put in can have a bigger effect. It is projected that these tools will create around 2,800 new homes over the next decade, with many of them being committed affordable units. In our present single-family home neighborhoods, less than 1% of our lots, 66 out of 9,100, are expected to be rebuilt into 2 to 4 unit buildings. That is a number so small as to be imperceptible in terms of impact on our neighborhoods. But the housing types they will create would fill an essential and underserved role. For young and growing families who may never be able to afford the $1 million or more price tag of a detached house, these new options will let them stay in Alexandria or return here if they were from here and they went off to college or to get a job but came back to find they couldn't afford to live in the place that they grew up. For older Alexandrians whose children or family have departed but who have too much house but want to stay in their community, these new options will give them the opportunity to do so they don't have to leave their community and friends. Over the course of this debate, we've heard a lot about livability, and we should, because keeping Alexandria livable is what every decision we make as a city council is ultimately about. Every action we take is one where we try to make Alexandria a little bit more livable. When we add transit options to our streets, we make Alexandria more livable for people who do not or cannot drive. When we invest historic amounts of money into expanding and building new schools, We make Alexandria more livable for parents who want their kids to be on a path to success. When we sign collective bargaining agreements with our police and firefighters, we make Alexandria more livable by trying to make it a little bit safer, a little bit more secure to live in our city. When we create green building policies to limit carbon emissions, or we build new homes here instead of regional sprawl, we make Alexandria more livable by doing our part to address climate change. If we pass these proposals, we'll make Alexandria a little bit more livable for our friends and our neighbors who struggle to afford their home today, for our seniors who want to age in the city they love, for young people who want to raise their own family in the place that they grew up. So I thank the city staff for answering the council's call for action on housing by preparing these proposals. I thank the residents who have shared their thoughts and opinions from all sides of this debate. And I look forward to voting on these proposals to respond to our housing crisis, to help our Alexandria neighbors who are on the edge of displacement, and to keep our beautiful city a livable place for everyone to call home.